Good evening, y'all. I hope when you watch this video, it's at a point in time after you've had some good times with family and friends. Um, Obviously, the New Year's are on the corner. Right, they're here. Uh, I see a lot of videos talking about resolutions. Um, Frankly, if you want to get a resolution, then I say okay. But the one thing that I've always found with resolutions, if you're thinking about doing something for a resolution, just do it now. Start it. It doesn't matter whether you've been drinking or you're tired or whatever it is. Whatever you're gonna do, just start it at that point in time. Start it at that point in time. Because if you thought it, it's like your body tells you stuff. If you're hungry, your body tells you it's hungry. If you are tired, you're going to go to sleep. There's a whole lot of things that the body tells us, but when our mind tells us, no, I think I need to do this, that means uh be resolute in your resolutions. But not getting preachy here. I was just thinking of something. Uh, Whatever happens come the new year, I hope it brings everybody good tidings and all that great joy and stuff. But I also hope it brings struggle, not like crazy struggle, but I think that we all find ourselves. We learn more about ourselves when we are put to the test, when we are put under pressure, and when we're. So I hope that those little trials and things that you might come across actually happen. I don't want your year to be an easy peasy, life is cheesy kind of fucking thing. I want a little bit of struggle there for you because that I know you can definitely handle it. Um, and that's kind of what I was thinking here. I was sitting there at work today since the one machine was shut down because everybody was on vacay. I wanted to go ahead and start rebuilding the top end of it. I had to put a new motor on and a new blast wheel housing and everything else like that. And I'm a I'm kind of a maintenance mechanic, a half-ass maintenance mechanic at the foundry I work at. Um, but I wanted to share something, like one of those mistakes that I made in the process. Now, I'm not going to get into the full drawn out situation, but the motor was going bad. It needed replaced. I needed to change a couple other things out on it, and I had a book that explained where all the parts go. If I ever had any questions, I've worked on this machine before. It wasn't anything overly new to me, except for one thing. And I could not find any literature on this specific part. And the part that was in there, it's called a blast wheel seal, and or a bare wheel seal, and it goes in the back of the blast wheel, which has a bunch of fins all the way around it. And when it drops media down, it spins around really fast and shoots it down with force at all the parts to go ahead and help finish them. Well, uh, through the process of Thursday night and all today, I did my teardowns. I do everything. I'm fairly methodical with what I do. I like to do everything by myself so that way I know once I take it apart how it goes back together again. I'm kind of OCD with that. I don't like people meddling with my projects. So I did everything. I just got it all back together again. And it was time to test it, to dry cycle it, to make sure that it would operate appropriately. Well, started everything up. Everything started up beautifully. Then all of a sudden, I see smoke rolling. So obviously you hit the e-stop, shut everything down. And long story short, I didn't seat it with some kind of adhesive to the back of the blast wheel. Even though the original one didn't have anything on there, it wasn't rubbing anywhere else. It was just, for some reason, I'm going to have to tear it all back apart tomorrow and reseat it. But it just goes to show you, it doesn't matter how much time you take or how much you think you're doing it. And I'm not passing this off on you all. I'm just saying this is my personal experience right now, but I'm sure we can all relate in one fashion or another. That rushing through things usually fucks shit up. It's just is what it is. So, it leads me to an author, Louis L'Amour. I don't know if you all have ever heard of him, but he was one of my favorite authors. I'm not a big fiction fan. I'm a non-fiction fan. But he was one of the few that actually I could get into. He wrote a lot of old Western novels. He wrote a lot of other novels, but I think he's got over. I don't even remember how much. I think he's got well over 100 stories. But whenever he would talk about the certain characters in his works, because one thing Louis L'Amour did is he tied his fiction to reality. Like the areas that he spoke of out west or wherever they were, he would draw maps in the beginning of the book, and he would actually tie them historically. And the man was a jack of all trades. He was merchant marine, bare knuckle boxer. You can go down the list. I believe he was in the service for a time as well. But I can't even go over all the lists of things that man had done in his life other than being an author and a writer. But one thing that always stood out to me whenever he was talking about a tradesman at his craft, and it was called there. I'm gonna butcher this a little bit, but there was no wasted energy. Every movement had a purpose. Every brush stroke, or working with a draw knife, or sanding, or chisel, or whatever your trade might be. Are you that person to where when you go to work on something, no effort is wasted? Have you broken down your project, job, whatever? Have you broken it down to the point where everything that you do is laid out appropriately? It's almost like as the conductor conducts a symphony. Because although all man's works are in vain, there is a time where when those who know see your work, they are going to say, that guy knew what he was doing. Or, man, he had missed a few corners on that block, or blah 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 blah. It could go down one way or the other. And I'm just saying this because this was I tried to get everything just right, and I forgot the one thing, and now I've got to go back. There's another one. If you don't know where to start, go back to the beginning. So now I got to go back to the beginning of the rebuild because of where this seal sets. You have to pull everything out to get to this seal and continue. So I wanted to share my mistake with you all, and I think has it say I don't remember that saying, but Learn from others' mistakes as well as your own, if you haven't already. This is not me passing judgment. You all know that. It was just something I had on my mind. But God bless. Be good, be safe. Have a happy new year. Be resolute. Don't make resolutions.